Good evening to one and all. Welcome you all to the daily Indian Express newspaper analysis for the date 1st December 2023, brought to you by Ganesh IAS Academy. Let's get into the today's newspaper analysis. Mentioned here are the list of articles which we are going to have the analysis in the upcoming slides. So have a look at it. Okay, let's move on to the analysis of every article one by one. Defense Acquisition Council note to buy 97 TEJAS, 156 combat helicopters. So the news is related to the recent note for buying the 97 TEJAS as well as 156 combat helicopter by Defense Acquisition Council. Okay, let's look how the news is related to the examination. Under prelims, the news is related to general science. Similarly, under mains, it is related to awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotech, biotech, and issues relating to IPR. Okay, let's discuss about the news. The Defense Acquisition Council cleared the procurement of 97 light combat aircraft TEJAS Mk1 as well as the 156 light combat helicopters from Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, and then the DAC has granted the acceptance of necessity. See, the acceptance of necessity does not mean that the end of the purchasing order. It means it is the first step in the direction of purchasing the product from the company where the defense ministry is going to procure, and it does not necessarily mean it will be leading to final order. So it will be tweaked as well as changed or sometimes cancelled according to the requirement. So this is what the news is about. So let's look into what does this Defense Acquisition Council is about. It is the highest decision making body of the Defense Ministry on procurement, and it was formed after the Kargil War. So after Kargil War, there was certain lacunae in the defense system was identified, and this lacunae was identified by the group of ministers' recommendation. Based on their recommendation, the Defense Acquisition Council was formed, and its members, defense minister is the chairman for it, and the members does include chief of defense staff as well as the chief of army, navy as well as the air force. And then let's look into the details of TEJAS light combat aircraft Mk1A. It is indigenously designed as well as developed and manufactured in India, and it is the 4th generation fighter aircraft, and in terms of avionics, performance as well as weapons capabilities, it is superior than the LCA's TEJAS, and it is flexible enough for the hardware as well as the software integration according to the operational requirement, and it is the first by category procurement for the combat aircraft. And let's look into the details of the light combat helicopters. It is the only attack helicopter that can land and take off at an altitude of 5,000 meters, and it is the only helicopter in the world to land as well as take off at an altitude of 5,000 meters, and it is designed and manufactured by the HAL, and it has been conceptualized after 1999 Kargil conflict, and it is the multi-role attack helicopter which will be handful for the in the desert terrains as well as high altitude sector, and it is the twin engine helicopter which is armed with anti-tank guided missile. So this is what the details of the light combat helicopter is about. So what are the things which we need to be further aware of is, we should be aware of what is buy and make as well as make. Similarly, we should be aware of BrahMos missile and then S-400, about their structures, function, and the speciality of it. So these are all the other areas which we need to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Malaria cases continue to dip in India, but it is growing in global arena. This is what the new report brought out by World Health Organization. So according to the news is related to the recent decline in the malaria cases in India as well as recent incline or increase in the malaria cases at the global level. So under prelims, it is related to general science. Similarly, under mains, it is related to awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotech, biotech, and issues relating to IPR. Okay, let's move on to the news. See, India has witnessed a decline of malaria cases as well as death in 2022, and there are around 33 lakh malaria cases and 5,000 deaths in India, which is the decrease of 30% and 34% compared with the previous year, that is 2021. Globally, there are 249 million cases in 2024-22 and 5 million is more than the 2021, and these data are brought out by the World Malaria Report, which is released by World Health Organization. So this is what the details of the news is. Okay, let's look into what does this malaria is about. It is the mosquito-borne blood disease which is caused by Plasmodium protozoan, and the parasite spread through the bites of infected female Anopheles mosquito, and the parasite initially multiply in liver cells and then attack the RBC, and predominantly it is found in tropic region, in the case of in the region of Africa, South Asia as well as South America. And what are all the initiatives that has been implemented in India and also the global stage to end the malaria is, first and foremost, it is the World Health Organization's Global Technical Strategy for Malaria 2016 to 2013, which has been implemented to overcome the menace of the malaria. Secondly, the E2025 initiative, it is also an initiative of World Health Organization to halt the transmission of malaria in 25 identified countries by 2025. And the government of India, this is at global level. At domestic level, the government of India set a target to eliminate the malaria by 2027, and government of India also developed the national framework for malaria elimination between 2016 to 2013. This is what the initiatives that has been brought out at the global as well as domestic level to overcome the menace of the malarian disease. And the Malarian Elimination Research Alliance in India, which is formed by ICMR, is also being implemented to increase the research with relation to the malaria so that it could be eliminated in India. And then the National Strategic Plan for Malarian Elimination has been implemented for the period of 5 years. These are all the things that has been implemented at Indian level. So what are all the things which we need to be further aware of is, we should be aware of what is virus, bacteria as well as other protozoan diseases, and we should be aware of the structure, function as well as the implementing authority of the World Health Organization. Thirdly, we should also be aware of the United Nations Organization. So these are all the other areas which we need to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. The PANNUM problem in India-US ties. So the news is related to the recent allegation by US intelligence on India's plot to murder or attack the PANNUM, who is the citizen of United States of America. Under prelims, it is related to current events of national as well as international importance. Similarly, under mains, it is related to bilateral, regional, global groupings, agreements involving India or affecting India's interests. This is how the news is related to examination. Okay, India and US has confronted with major diplomatic challenges, because as Indian official has been accused for the plot to kill the PANNUM, who is the citizen of US, and the Indian government has anticipated the indictment earlier itself, because before the indictment which has been released recently, earlier there was some diplomatic channels have been the communication has been taken place between both the countries with relation to the plot to kill the PANNUM. But the US administration has came to know, that is what in July itself, and India's response to the allegation is to cooperate with the US rather than the tit for tat, that is the attack mode which India took against the Canada, because of the deepening relationship with the US. The same wise, during 2013, Indian official has been found herself in a trouble because of the visas fraud case. But which this in turn led to the diplomatic law between the India and US, similar then which was overcome by the new government which was formed in 2014 by India. This is what the historical context of the news is about. The news is about. So let's look into the US Delhi ties. The Delhi's diplomatic the increasing strategic ties with India necessitates India to have a balanced approach so that it does not have any spillover effect on the other areas of the diplomatic relationships. And see, the India and US relationship has gone to a low during 1971 war and also after 1974-1998 nuclear test. But after it revamped, and right now US is the India's largest trading partner with the bilateral trade in goods as well as service crossing 191 billion in 2022, and both the countries are acting in coordination to confront the Chinese belligerents in Indo-Pacific region and also at the global level. So it is at the New Delhi's interest to handle this situation without any kind of spillover effect on the other areas of bilateral relationships. This is what the current analysis of the news is about. And what are the things which we need to be further aware of is, we should be aware of the India-US ties, and then we should be aware of what is 5i intelligence, who are all the member of 5i intelligence. Thirdly, we should also be aware of the India-Canada standoff. These are all the other things which we need to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Core sector clocks 12.1% growth in October. The news is related to the recent growth of the core sector in India, which is according to the index being released by the National Statistical Office. Under prelims, it is related to economic and social development. Similarly, under mains, it is related to Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. Okay, under IIP index, which was released by National Statistical Office, the 8 core sector industries has rose to 12.1% from the 9.2% in September. This is due to sharp expansion in the sectors like electricity, steel as well as coal, and also it has arisen due to the low base effect and also due to more holidays in a year ago, and there is also increase in the core sector production that reflects the continued investment activities in the countries, which is propelled by government. So in terms of capital outlay in recent times, the union as well as the 16 states put together, the capital outlay or the capital expenditures has been grown by 33.7% in October 23. So let's look into the IIP index. It is the composite indicator which measures the growth rate of industries group that has been classified under 2 types. One is broad sector, another is use-based sector. The broad sectors combines of sectors like mining, manufacturing as well as electricity. The use-based sectors consist of sectors like the consumer durables as well as the other things which has been in the day-to-day usages. And then it is the Central Statistical Office that is responsible for creating it, and it has the base year for 2011-12, and it compiles the data from the 14 different sources across the ministries, departments and its attached offices, and it comprises the data, the index as 40.27% of weight that has been included in IIP indexes, and this is what the weightage that has been given to the core sectors in decreasing orders. The highest weightages has been given to refinery products, and then second highest has been given to electricity, so on and so forth. This is what the order is about. And how the IIP Index is useful for the useful in general is it will enable to estimate the GDP of an economy. Similarly, it is useful to measure the volume of production. Similarly, it is useful for making policy at different level. Fourthly, it will be used by investors to decide the investment activity in the Indian economy. This is how the data will be useful. Similarly, what need to be studied further is we should be aware of the National Statistical Office and then National Statistical Commission and then structure, function as well as the objective of Niti Aayog. These are all the other areas which we need to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. MSME's claim worth 7,700 crores has been settled according to Finance Secretary. The news is related to the dispute settlement mechanism or the scheme that has been introduced to reduce the dispute that has arisen during the COVID period for the MSME. So under prelims it is related to economic and social development. Similarly under mains it is related to GS paper 3 economic and social development under a subtopic called Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resource, growth, development and employment. Okay, the central government has settled rupees 43,094 claim which is worth of 700 crores by MSMEs under Vivad Se Vishwas scheme, and the relief for MSP will make them eligible for further credit from the banks so that they could able to increase their investment and then related production. So what does this Vivad Se Vishwas scheme is about? It is the scheme which was announced in 2023-24 budget. Under it, 95% of the forfeited amount of the performance security, bid security and then liquidated damages forfeited or detected during the COVID period will be given to the MSME itself. And the government e-marketplace has created a dedicated web page to implement the scheme, and the eligible claims shall be processed only through the government e-marketplace. So this is what the detail is about, and the government e-marketplace is nothing but one-stop solution for the public procurement, and it will enable the facilitating of online procurement of common use of goods and services required by various central and state government department, and it provides the tools for e-bidding, reverse e-auction and demand aggregation, and it aims to enhance the transparency, efficiency and speed in public procurement. This is what the details of what does the government e-marketplace is about. So what are the things which we need to be further aware of is we should be aware of the MSME definition, and then what is Make in India policy. Thirdly, we should also be aware of the direct tax code. These are all the other things which we need to be further aware of, and with this we have reached the end of this topic. Let's look into today's practice prelims question. So mentioned here is the today's practice prelims question. Those students, those who are watching this session online, please do comment the option point for the question which you are seeing right now on the board. And with this, we have reached the end of today's session. Thank you.